Hey everybody, it's Lisa Birmingham and I'm so glad that you're here with me. Now I know I say that every single week, but I really am so glad that you take the time out of your busy schedules to spend a few minutes with me doing some DIYs and some crafting. I really appreciate it and I'm so grateful for the support. Now today we're going to be making a stand for signs. It was an easy project and it was very affordable. In fact, it didn't even cost me a dime because everything that I needed to make this I already had. So let's get started. This DIY wooden stand was made simply and affordably. It's the perfect place to display your party or holiday signs and decor for every season. Here on my channel, I like to focus on all things that are related to home and style. So if that's what you're interested in, then I would love to have you join. Please subscribe so you can get weekly videos on DIYs, on party ideas, on home decor, and on holiday entertaining. This week I'm participating in the Girls Can Use Power Tools Challenge. Now I love participating in this challenge every single month. It really gets me out of my comfort zone. It's hosted by my good friend NataLee Callahan from Design to the Nines. She is an amazing designer and very talented. I've actually gotten a sneak peek at what she's doing this week for her project, and she is using a power tool that I have never even thought about using, so you're going to want to check that out. I will leave a link to her channel in the description box below. Now her co-host this month is Casey from Coffee with My Sunshine. She's also a very talented designer. She comes up with some creative and unique DIYs. So I will leave a link to both of those, like I said, along with the playlist so you can check out all the other participants and what they came up with using power tools. I love decorating with signs for the different seasons and holidays, so I wanted a unique and fun way to do it. So I made this sign holder. And I kept it neutral so it could be perfect for every season and every holiday. And then I also wanted it to be able to fit in with my existing decor. Not only are these stands good for signs, but you can hang so many other things on it. You could put a wreath on it, you could hang up a flag for your favorite sports team, you could put some stockings on it at Christmas time, you could leave it inside like I am, you could make a bigger one too, and you could put it outside for front porch decor. It's such a versatile item and I'm so glad that I ended up making one. Like I said, I didn't spend any money on this project. Everything that I used, I already had. For instance, this spindle. This is a stair spindle and I used it for my breakfast in bed tray. I just sawed off the top part and I was left with this bottom half. So what I did with this is I used it for my vertical and horizontal posts on my sign. I also had this 2x4 that was just in the garage that I stained, and then I just put it all together. I used my jigsaw to cut this horizontal stair railing into a more manageable size. I didn't want it to poke out too far from my display. I cut the horizontal stair rail into a 20-inch piece. I also used a power drill with a 1/2-inch drill bit. Now what I did was I drilled a hole through the center of my railing, and I did this so I could slide my second railing through the center. I also used my power drill to drill holes through the end of my horizontal railing and also at the top of the vertical railing. I made these holes so I could twist in my decorative hardware later on. And I wanted to make sure that I did this all before I painted, because after you paint, and then perhaps if you drilled something in, you could chip the paint. And I didn't want to do that because then I would have had to repaint all over again. For extra strength, I added E6000 along the joint where the wooden dowels connected. I measured my 2x4 into a 2x6-inch piece, and then I used my jigsaw and I cut it to the size that I needed for my base. I sanded down all of the edges of my wooden pieces. I did the top part of my railing so it would be nice and smooth. I also sanded down all of the edges on my 2x6-inch base, and then I also did the top and the bottom and the sides because that would get rid of any kind of dust and debris. That way when I put the stain on it or the paint, it would stick really well. I wanted to stain the base of my wood display sign, so I used a mahogany colored stain. It was just so beautiful and rich. I applied it with a sponge brush, and then I took a paper towel and I wiped it off. I did this because I really wanted to see the beautiful wood grain. To match with the mahogany wood stain, I decided that I wanted to do a metallic chestnut spray paint on my stair rails. So what I did was I laid it out and I spray painted it really well with a couple of coats of this spray paint. After it had dried, I looked at it and it looked a little one-dimensional, so I decided that I would add a little bit of this white copper metallic spray paint over the top. I just lightly sprayed it so it wasn't a saturated color, and I really think it made a big difference. Once I had let everything dry for a couple of hours, it was now time to assemble it. So what I needed was a long 3-inch wood screw. And what I did was I screwed this through the bottom of the base, up through the center, and then through the center of the wooden stair rail. Now, having a 3-inch wood screw and having it be that long and deep means that it's going to be just that much more sturdy because it went that much further up in through the center of the stair rail. Now, I did end up adding an L bracket to the corner of my, right here, where the two spindles meet, because I wanted it to be extra secure. And I was afraid that if I started to hang some heavier items on here, that it might bend a little bit. So the L bracket is just really crucial to give it that extra bit of support. Now, one last thing I did decide to do the very last minute was to add this secondary base, because even though it was standing upright, it looked a little weak and I was afraid that it might fall over. So adding this extra bit of 2x4 was really important, because now I know that this is safe and secure and it's not going to topple over and go anywhere. Now, you could just use regular hooks and screw them into the top bar of your stand, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some curtain rings. Now, these curtain rings have these little clamps at the bottom, and you can add as many or as little as you want to your sign and your display, and all you need to do is just clamp it to the sign that's hanging down. And if your sign doesn't have holes in it, it's easy because you can just attach it without worrying about drilling holes into your sign. Now, the finishing touch is adding these decorative finials to the top and to the end. Believe it or not, these are finials from the end of a curtain rod. And because we have those holes that we pre-drilled earlier, all we have to do is just screw them right in. And because we already have our rings on there, those can already be in place. And these finials really add such a nice decorative touch, and they can bring in your color scheme. And if you did ever want to add some more of these curtain rings, you could just take this off, put some more rings on, and then put the finial back on. Now that our sign is complete, it's time to decorate it for fall. I got these beautiful florals and some ribbons at the Dollar Tree, along with these cute little mini leaf lights. I just love them. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wrap all these around our stand, and then I'm gonna secure all the ribbons and the leaves and the florals with some floral wire. I'm just gonna put a piece of floral wire through the center of my garland, and then I can easily attach it to my display. Once the garland was wired to the stand, I just wrapped it tightly around the display. I'm going to take this longer piece of floral wire and I'm going to stick it through the center of the hole at the end of my garland, and then I'm going to take my battery pack and I'm just going to wrap the wire around the battery pack, and I'm going to attach it to the garland. And then when it's all placed together, what I can do is just wire it to my stand, and it will stay in place and out of the way. Now, I've made 3 separate bows with my ribbons. I have this copper and this beautiful plaid. I've got these shimmery organza flowers and feathers, and then I also have this chevron gold and cream color. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put them together, just gonna fluff them nicely in an order, and then I'm gonna take a piece of this floral wire and I'm gonna wire them together to make one big bow. I placed the bows on top of each other and intertwined them with the wire. Then I flipped the bow over and twisted the wire tightly together so all of the bows would be securely attached together and create one large bow. Then I fluffed up the bow loops so it would be nice and full. Once my bow was finished, I attached it to the corner of my display stand with floral wire. And finally, I added in extra fall leaves, feathers, and wheat stems. The last decorative touch is this pumpkin spice and everything nice sign. I love everything pumpkin spice, don't you? And this is the season. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna clamp this sign right onto our display, and since our rings are already on, and there goes one of our feathers, I'll have to put that back on. But once we have this all clamped on, it's just gonna hang and it's gonna be perfect. This DIY sign display stand is finished and the decorations are complete. It's ready to be put on display for this fall season. The best part about having a piece like this is that it can transition from season to season to display all of your signs and decor. I hope you enjoyed this DIY stand tutorial. I'm so excited to have a stand to hold my fall signs, but it's a great transitional piece, so if you have things for Thanksgiving or Christmas, this is a great stand for that too. Speaking of the holidays, I'm excited and I've got some really fun projects coming up, so I hope you'll come back and celebrate those holidays with me too. All of the instructions and items needed to create this display will be in the description box below. If you're looking for other DIYs or fall decorating ideas, then I've got some for you. And as always, thank you so much for watching.